There's a reason you're here. You may not know what pulled you, but something did. A tug in your chest, a quiet voice, a flicker of curiosity that felt too precise to ignore. You didn't click this video by accident. You were guided not by logic, but by vibration. Because the energy that lives within you has been whispering, waiting for you to remember. This isn't just another teaching, it's a return to a knowing you've carried since before you had the words for it. To the part of you that understands healing is not something you chase, it's something you unlock. Everything you need, you already hold. The ritual, the light, the field, the frequency. This isn't about adding more. It's about activating what's already alive in you. So if it feels like life has been circling, stuck in patterns, asking the same questions, know this: the code has found you because you are ready. And this time, you'll hear it. Maybe you felt it lately, that strange hum beneath the surface. A feeling that your days are blurring together, that you're running but not arriving. You're not alone, and you didn't do anything wrong. That feeling of restlessness, it's not a sign of failure. It's a signal, a whisper from within that your soul is ready to shift. We're taught to fear stillness, to label uncertainty as weakness. But what if this repetitive loop you feel caught in isn't a trap, but an invitation? Life has its rhythms, and sometimes, when your energy is out of sync with your surroundings, you'll feel it as unease. You wake up, go through the motions, check off the boxes, but something inside is echoing. There's more. You know there's more. Thoth once said, "The soul speaks in patterns." And perhaps that loop you keep circling isn't a mistake. It's a message repeating itself until you finally slow down enough to hear it. It's not about effort. You could push harder, meditate longer, journal more pages, and still feel stuck. Because healing, real healing, doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to presence. Science backs this too. Our brains follow neural pathways that grow stronger with repetition. If you've been feeling the same emotions, anxiety, numbness, guilt, it's likely because those circuits have become well-worn roads. But here's the good news. Awareness creates a detour. The moment you notice, really notice, you interrupt the pattern. That's where self-healing begins, not with some elaborate ritual, but with the quiet courage to say, "I feel stuck." And maybe that's okay for now. Because naming the pattern is the first step to changing it. Your restlessness isn't the enemy. It's the part of you that still remembers movement, freedom, expansion, and it's nudging you home. So breathe. Feel the discomfort, but don't rush to fix it. Let it speak. Healing doesn't always look like light. Sometimes it looks like recognizing the dark without turning away. And in that moment of gentle recognition, something shifts. The loop loosens. The energy realigns. You begin to remember what it feels like to move, not to escape, but to return. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you truly looked at a glass of water not just to drink it, but to connect with it? There's something quietly magical about water. It's everywhere, it's soft, it yields, and yet it holds the memory of everything it touches. That's not just poetic, it's energetic. And ancient traditions, including those passed down from Thoth, saw water not as a passive element, but as a carrier of intention. That's where the moonlight ritual begins. You don't need sacred objects or secret mantras. Just a clean glass of water, a place where the moonlight can touch it, and your presence. Here, what you do. Fill a clear glass or jar with water. Place it where it can receive the light of the full moon. A windowsill works beautifully. As you set it down, take a moment to breathe deeply. Close your eyes and feel what you want this water to hold for you. Peace, clarity, Healing. Whisper it into the water or simply feel it and let the feeling do the speaking. Why does this work? Some scientists like Masaru Emoto have shown that water reacts to human intention. While mainstream science debates the details, the deeper truth remains. When you engage with the world mindfully, the world responds. Water, under moonlight, becomes a mirror for your consciousness. It absorbs the stillness, the silence, the clarity of the lunar light. And when you drink it the next morning, you're not just hydrating. You're reminding your body of the frequency you chose to live in. It's a small act, a quiet one. But that's where healing often begins, in the ordinary moments we treat as sacred. The beauty of this ritual is that anyone can do it. You don't need to be a healer or a mystic. You just need to be willing to pause, to be present, and to believe not in the ritual, but in your ability to give it meaning. And that belief, that's the real vibration. So tonight, when the moon rises, maybe let her light into your home and into your water. Speak your heart, sip your intention, and let that simple act begin to reprogram the energy within you. You've probably seen them before shelves lined with shimmering crystals, each one promising clarity, healing, love, or protection. Maybe you've even held one in your hand and felt something, or maybe nothing at all. That's okay. Here's the truth. Crystals are not magical in themselves. They're amplifiers, not saviors, tools, not the source. The real power has always been you. In ancient teachings, including those whispered through the emerald tablets, crystals were revered not because they did the work for you, but because they helped you focus. They're precise, geometrically structured forms of nature. Stable, receptive, and yes, they carry frequency. But that frequency means little without conscious intention behind it. Choosing a crystal is not about getting it right. It's about resonance. Does one call to you? Does it feel grounding, expansive? That's the beginning. Once chosen, it becomes a co-creator in your practice, a mirror to your mind, a container for your focus. Here, how to use it intentionally. Hold it in your palm. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what do I want to align with? Peace, courage, healing. Speak it out loud or say it within. Then breathe. Let the feelings settle. The moment your energy imprints that crystal, it becomes a reflection of your desire. Some viewers have said, "It never worked for me until I realized the crystal wasn't doing it. I was." And that shift, that's when things began to change. Because once you stop giving your power away, you begin to work with it. Place the crystal where you'll see it on your desk, by your bed, during meditation. Each time you see it, let it bring you back to your intention. That's its true role, to anchor you in what matters. And yes, you don't need it. As one line in the original message reminds us, you don't need a crystal. The true source is within. That's the most liberating part. Crystals are beautiful, but the real magic is what you bring to them. Your clarity, your decision, your frequency. So if you ever feel unsure, remember, tools can guide, but only intention can transform. You are the current. The crystal is just the wire. You lit the candle, you wrote the affirmations. You repeated them for 21 days straight. You visualized, you waited, and still, nothing. If that's you, take a deep breath. You didn't do it wrong. You're not broken. And manifestation isn't a scam. You just weren't told the full picture. Because here's the thing no one tells you. Manifestation isn't about effort. It's about alignment. Your conscious mind might be saying, "I'm ready for abundance." But if your nervous system is wired for survival, if your body is still echoing past stories of lack, fear, or rejection, then your vibration won't match your desire. And the universe listens to frequency, not volume. Think of it like tuning a radio. You can scream into the mic on 89.3, but if the signal is meant for 101.7, you'll never be heard no matter how loud you get. Science backs this. Neuroscience tells us that the brain doesn't respond to words nearly as strongly as it does to emotion. You can say, "I am worthy" all day, but if your body still tightens, your breath still shortens, your habits still reflect self-doubt. The signal is mixed. That's where manifestation stalls. Not because you don't want it enough, but because a part of you, often deep and unconscious, doesn't believe it's safe to receive. So what can you do? First, stop forcing. Let go of the idea that results equal worth. Instead, bring your attention to how you feel when you imagine your desire. Do you feel excited or anxious? Expanded or hesitant? That's the clue. Next, return to your body. Practice calming your nervous system through breath, through stillness, through presence. When your system feels safe, it opens, and only then can it start to receive. This is the quiet work of healing. Not just speaking new truths, but gently, patiently rewiring the old ones. It's okay if your desires haven't landed yet. They're not lost. They're waiting not for you to try harder, but to trust deeper. So, if you've been wondering why your manifestations feel stuck, maybe it's not about effort. Maybe it's about remembering that healing is the most powerful manifestation of all. And when you begin there with your own energy, your own presence, the rest starts to catch up. It's easy to think of healing as a moment, a breakthrough, a ritual, a retreat, a crystalline-fused meditation under a full moon. And while those moments are beautiful, they're not the whole story. Thoth, the ancient scribe of wisdom, didn't whisper about temporary fixes. His teachings point to something far deeper, that healing is not a single act, but a way of being. A vibration you return to again and again, like the breath, like the heartbeat, like the rising of the sun. You don't heal in a flash, you heal in the repetition. That means how you speak to yourself in the morning matters. How you breathe through stress, how you soften when triggered, how you choose presence over reaction, all of it adds up. This is what we call a daily frequency practice. Not a performance, not perfection, just a commitment to tune into your own energy every day, like tuning an instrument. Some days it's off. That's okay. The point is you come back, you notice, you adjust. It could be a minute of silence with your hand over your heart, a glass of moon water placed by your window, a whispered intention before sleep. It doesn't need to look magical. What matters is the consistency, the sincerity, the returning. Many seekers fall into the trap of chasing high moments, feeling deeply connected one day, then lost the next, wondering where the magic went. But that magic isn't lost. It just lives in the small things now. In how you show up when no one is watching. In how you remember you are the field, not separate from healing, but the very space where it happens. You don't need tools, though they can help. You don't need rituals, though they can open doors. What you truly need is to show up. Fully, daily, with the quiet courage to stay aware. That is conscious healing. It doesn't shout, it hums. It doesn't demand, it invites. And the more you live in that frequency, the more you choose presence over panic, softness over shame, the more healing becomes who you are, not just something you do. You are not chasing healing. You are becoming it, one breath at a time. There comes a moment, often in silence, when something within you shifts. Not because of what someone said or what you read, but because something in your body finally whispers, "This is real." Not the noise, not the fear, but you. What if the code you've been seeking isn't outside? What if you are the code? Consciousness isn't a destination. It's a remembering. And healing, in its truest form, begins not with adding more, but with removing the static, the filters, the noise between you and your own field. The field is not some abstract force out there. It's what you are made of. It's your breath, your thoughts, your emotions vibrating into space. Every moment you become aware of that, every time you choose presence over autopilot, you are sinking back into your own signal. Neuroscience shows us that the brain responds to breath, image, and rhythm. This is why a single conscious inhale can change your state faster than 1,000 words. Why the body calms when you imagine light. Why the heart opens to a steady rhythm. Healing isn't always mystical. Sometimes it's physiological, and presence is the bridge. Many who awaken do so after chaos, illness, heartbreak, loss. That collapse of the known makes space for the unknown to rise. And in that unknown, they glimpse a deeper truth, that who they thought they were was only a fragment, that beneath the pain, something steady remained. Maybe you felt it too, that moment when the world made no sense, but you felt more alive than ever. That was not madness. That was clarity. You were not breaking down. You were breaking open. You are not separate from the energy you're trying to reach. You are the field that heals, the consciousness that creates, the rhythm that harmonizes. The secret of Thoth isn't in the ritual or the words, it's in what they point to the space within you that knows, to the frequency that can't be taught, only felt. And the more you live from that space, fully present, gently aware, the more the field responds in kind. So if you've been looking for the code, breathe, notice, feel it's already within you, and it always has been. You've come this far not because you were broken, but because something inside you remembered wholeness. Not the kind that needs fixing or proving, but the kind that simply is. That quietly hums beneath all the noise, waiting for you to come home to it. You don't need to chase healing anymore. You only need to live like you believe in it. Let your breath be your ceremony. Let your stillness be your ritual. Let your life with all its ordinary beauty become your field of transformation. You are not here by accident. You were drawn here because the part of you that already knows is ready to lead. Not someday, not when you're better. Now. So as you move forward, carry this simple truth. You are the healer. You always were. And when you're ready, the field around you is waiting to be activated, to not by force, but by presence. That's where we'll go next. Until then, trust your frequency. Walk as the medicine, and remember you are not alone.